And welcome to Hero Power. This is episode 91, and I am your host, Avantes, and we are back from the void. As always, I have my co-host, Zeroshio.
I made it back, gang.
And Versika.
How many miles did we walk?
Like, it had to have been over 1,000.
Okay.
Really, because yesterday he told somebody we made him walk around the outside of Atlanta 3 times. Like the whole city.
Full circumference 3 times. That's right.
No. I have the answer. I know what Zeroshio was looking for.
Uh-oh.
You ready?
Don't say David Beckham.
No, he was looking for Earl.
That's right.
Yeah, I was looking for Earl.
Looking
More
for
on
Earl.
later.
Well, more on that story in a minute.
Oh, the stories we could tell.
All right, guys. We've got a great show planned for you tonight. A lot to talk about. For some of you who may not have be regular listeners, last weekend we packed up the Hero Power crew and traveled to Atlanta for DreamHack.
Oh, yeah.
And we've got some stories to tell. We've got... Thank you for the follow, Chris. That's much appreciated. We've got news on Knights of the Frozen Throne to reveal that was just dropped within the last 2 hours. A lot to talk about, but before we do any of that, Versika, why don't you tell us about our friends at Viforce?
No.
Yes.
I will tell you about our friends at Viforce. Can I take it this week?
Yes.
So
Avantes was tired, remember? This was
That's
in between This was in between excursions.
So we are at DreamHack Atlanta, and I take my wonderful custom Viforce computer that I got from ViforceGaming.com that had custom art done by Antonio Cortez, and I unbox it, I set it up, and I literally hear oohs and ahs. People started coming over with cameras, video, taking pictures with it, getting flyers, asking me details about the computer. And you know me, my name is Zeroshio. I'm on the Hero Power podcast. I love attention. If you want attention like that, definitely go to ViforceGaming.com, get a quote, get your computer today, or you can go over to HeroPowerHS.com, click on the Viforce link, it'll take you right there.
All right. So, before we jump into all the DreamHack goodies, we do have some news to pass along about Knights of the Frozen Throne. If you guys have not heard yet, about an hour and a half ago, there was a new blog put up on the Battle.net site that says this Friday, July the 28th, at 11 a.m. Pacific, that's 2 p.m. Eastern, we will have the Knights of the Frozen Throne card reveal stream hosted by Matt Place and Day 9. So
I'm excited for that. Day 9 did so good on the Ngoro one. I really can't wait to see how he interprets some of these cards and get some ideas from these cards.
Yeah, I love... we were talking about this in our patron-only Discord channel yesterday, I think, but one of my favorite times is right before a set comes out and all the streamers are doing their predictions, because then in 6 months you can go back and rewatch those predictions and laugh at how way off base they were.
Yeah.
In fact, I posted a video of the Ngoro predictions, and it was just hilarious to go back and watch them say, well, this Caverns Below card is just a 1 star because nobody will ever get off 4 minions to be able to play this quest. It's just no good and not worthwhile. And so, yeah, I love this time of year. Always fun to watch. Versika,
Commando, thanks for the follow.
Yes, thank you. Versika, I know you'll be at work during the live stream on Friday, but...
Of course. I'm always at work when the good stuff is happening.
I imagine you will check out the VOD after work, though?
Probably. I'll probably just sit in our conference room and watch it. I don't know. Friday I will be sitting in a cove at Cowan Park on a giant pink unicorn floaty having beer with my associates.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I just found out about this today. I was like, okay.
So did everybody else. It just came loose about an hour and a half ago. Or are you talking about your pink floaty unicorn?
No. I was probably talking about my pink floaty unicorn.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
happens when you're last in line to pick your float.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So you know what, though? I'll rock the pink unicorn. It'll be okay.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work.
All right, so let's go. We are off topic already, and we have so much information to talk about this show. We cannot afford.
We are 7 minutes in, and this train's already derailed. I blame Versika this time.
It's always my fault.
All right.
So any of you out there, it's always my fault.
So, after we finished our show last week, some of you know I usually spend the next hour and a half, 2 hours post-editing and posting everything everywhere it goes. Hadn't even started to pack for DreamHack yet, which we were leaving the very next morning.
Yeah, because I wanted him to be ready to go at 7 a.m.
And I am duty-bound to do whatever I can to irk Versika anytime I can. That's just it's my lot in life.
16 years of friendship, and that is the one constant.
Yeah. So we loaded up the car Thursday morning, drove down, picked up Zeroshio, got back in the car, and headed to Atlanta. And
First thing that happened was we got hit in the windshield by a bird-sized moth.
It's
like
was
this
so big.
It's this big.
It's like impact tremors when it hit.
Like the GoPro, we had the GoPro on, and I'm sure you heard the audio of this loud thud.
So funny story. I prepared this vehicle with every fluid I could think of, every important fluid I could think of, except washer fluid. And the moment this Mothra hits the windshield, I hit the lever to wash it off, and bubbles come out, and I'm just like, nice. Go on. There's actually a point to this part of the story later, but we'll get to that.
So he also set up his GoPro to record our conversations and our trip down. Well, unfortunately, I had a conference call for another project that I worked on. So by the time I got off my conference call after we picked up Zeroshio, we were only like 45 minutes outside of Atlanta. So
The GoPro batteries were out.
I seem to remember saying when you started this conference call, hey, we'll be in Atlanta by the time you're done. And I see, what was it Avanti said? Nah, 15, 20 minutes tops.
No, not at
15,
all.
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
So the GoPro battery is 2.5 hours.
I'd like to point out we were not in Atlanta yet when I got off that call.
2.5 hours. You said 20 minutes. 2.5 hours.
What he meant was 20 minutes from Atlanta.
That would have been so much closer. Okay, so anyways, once again, we digress. Let's
All right, so we get into Atlanta and we go down to find our find the Georgia World Congress Center, because we're all Dragon Con veterans. We're familiar with downtown, but not that part of downtown. So we get down there and we get out and we go in and we go into the Georgia World Congress Center. Of course, there's nobody there because they're still setting up. This is Thursday morning. Check it out. Go have lunch. Great. Have a good time. Then we go. We do. Yeah, we do get to meet, and this is one of my shout outs here. I want to shout out to Justin, who was in charge of the press at DreamHack. One of our press passes got lost in the mail. It was lost in the twisting nether, as they would say. And he was able to hook us up with our extra press pass right there on the spot Thursday morning.
What exactly happened was, as we said, oh, we're short one press pass. And he pulled a David Copperfield and reached behind Avanti's ear and pulls out a press pass. Says, here, have this one.
Pretty much. So huge shout out to Justin from DreamHack. Also, Frederick from DreamHack headquarters. He helped to arrange all of that, and they did a absolute fantastic job. So we left there and went and had lunch, and then went to Kennesaw to check into our hotel for the night. Once there, we unloaded the car. Then we left, and we went out to Battle and Brew Thursday night.
Oh, yeah.
If you are not familiar with Battle and Brew in Atlanta, I highly recommend next time you're there, it is a destination stop. Whatever you're doing, make plans to go check this place out. It is a full-fledged game bar. They have PCs, consoles, board games. They have tabletop nights, full bar, beers on tap, restaurant. It's an amazing place to go hang out with your friends, and that's what
I was in heaven.
That's what we did Thursday night. Bunny Ogg, who is the social media manager for Battle and Brew, she is also a innkeeper like myself, and she does a fantastic job with that place. But we had a DreamHack meetup there on Thursday night, and
I have the picture, photo proof that Zoroshio was almost
outdone.
Drank under the table, but you were definitely outgunned.
So we're there hanging out with the ATL crew, with the ATL Hearthstone crew. Shout out to Blake Hall, Yellow Dart, Snowbum, Frid, all you guys that were out there.
Spartan.
Blue Spartan, absolutely.
Torlin's not.
Yeah.
Torlin's a different shout out, but
Yeah.
he was.
So shout out to all the ATL Hearthstone crew. It was awesome hanging out with you guys. About 3/4 of the way through the night, we've all been hanging out, having a good time, taking pictures. In walks Cora and her brother and
Lorinda
and Falcone, and
Falcone.
I think that was it, wasn't it?
It was another guy from DreamHack,
Yes.
but I never caught his name.
Okay. So we talk a lot about Cora. She's one of our favorite people. She's from the Coin Concede podcast. She's also one of the these were all Hearthstone casters that were in town. They came to hang out. So we finally got to introduce ourselves to Cora in person. And I asked Cora, I was like, hey, would it be possible for you to take a picture with the Hero Power crew? We would love to have this.
No, this is not how it was said. It was, hey, Cora, would you mind getting a picture? And her reply was, sure, what are we drinking? And Avanti's looking confused, thinking with his southern accent, she thought picture, not picture, So he said, no, can we get a photo? And she says, yes. What are we drinking?
And to my reply was, whatever you want, we're buying.
That was a bad idea.
I'm going to apologize to Versika now because he ended up buying that round. But she was like, hey, let's just do shots of Jack. So there is a picture. I will find it and post it of the four of us doing a shot of Jack, and Cora taking that shot way better than Zoroshio ever thought he would.
Yeah, at that moment,
not miss a beat.
If I could locate,
mid-sentence.
if I could have located my man card in my wallet, I would have pulled it out and just handed it to her. I didn't deserve it. She definitely learned something in those years of college, is what she said.
Yeah.
I would like to point out that not only did she take the shot, the two Europeans who I expected to drink us under the table ordered Coke.
Okay,
That's true.
In their defense, they had just flown back from Europe and had a full day in Atlanta and was severely jet lagged. So
I understand.
they weren't ready to be drinking.
But the point was,
Cora also
She
flew
stepped
from Europe
up to
and
the
just
plate.
didn't care.
and they stayed in the batter's box.
That's right.
Yeah. Let me tell you, I know some Europeans who can drink. I've drank with them. But I've never drank with anybody that drinks like a South American. Don't ever try to outdrink a Brazilian. I've said this many times. Just it's not worth it. So anyway,
we can't afford to do a timeline. We're gonna have to speed this up.
All right, so we had a great time at Battle and Brew. Go check it out. Friday morning, we get moved into our. We're moving to our dorm room. I get out to go in to check us in, and Versika pulls off on a side street where they meet.
Which is
Earl.
never a good idea.
Versika, why don't you tell that story?
It's just never a good idea because there's a lot of side streets in Atlanta that are one way. I drive an orange Jeep. I'm hard to miss. So I pulled off on a little side street, and about that time, this guy comes up, and he's just like, "Hey, how you guys doing?" And before we even got a word out edgewise, water was splashed across the windshield, and a little squeegee came out.
No,
But-
not a squeegee, a newspaper.
Well, is that what that was?
Exactly, right out of the old movies. You just
I
squirt a
thought
little water.
I thought it was like a dirty squeegee or...
No, it was. Hey, you needed a newspaper to get that moth off the windshield.
Well, I was going to say, I didn't complain too much, and he got a 5 just for cleaning mothra off the windshield.
That's right.
But that was Earl, so shout out to Earl, who will never hear this podcast, but you gave us many laughs, sir. I hope you didn't burn up in the Atlanta heat. Thank you for saving my Jeep from mothra.
So we finally get to the Georgia World Congress Center Friday. We get down there, we check out, we get checked in basically, and we're there for the ribbon cutting, which was amazing. They had.
I was able to save that video.
Good. We'll post that now that we know Versika was able to save it. Then the entire event actually started, and let me tell you, I've been to a lot of conventions before, but I've never been to anything like DreamHack. It just blew me away. The lots, the cameras, the whole setup was just amazing. Thank you for the follow, Apex. Also, thank you for the follow, RPS 1224. When we got in there, like I said, I was just blown away by everything. The vendor booths, the game areas, the BYOC area, which I'm going to let Zeroshio talk about here in just a second. But if you guys ever get a chance to go to a DreamHack anywhere near you, it's worth the trip. I can easily say it's worth the trip and highly recommend going. All right, Zeroshio, I've talked enough. Why don't you tell us about the BYOC experience and getting to meet players from the Grand Prix?
Real quick, I did want to thank Apex Predator for the follow.
Yeah. So, the BYOC, if you're ever considering a ticket to DreamHack, there is a ticket called the BYOC, which is bring your own computer. And I made sure to bring down my custom Viforce computer that you can get over ViforceGaming.com and set it up. And I have to say, I was really worried about the security and having that sit there all night for pretty much 3 days and 2 nights. But the security was spot on. They were very particular about making sure your ID numbers matched your badge. They were very, very clear on making sure nobody without a BYOC walked into the area. If you walked out of the area with any equipment, they checked your stuff again. It was very professional. If you have a chance to go to DreamHack and have a BYOC ticket and have that experience, do it. It allowed me somewhere to go and settle between my rounds of the Grand Prix. I was able to set myself up a fan there because it got really hot at times from walking around the venue because I'm a big guy. And so the fan kept me cool. And I got to hang out with Ender Panda, who is Avanti's son. And we played lots of games together and just enjoyed the experience. We sat right across from Yellow Dart and Snowbum, who are also Atlanta natives there and the locals in the Hearthstone scene there. It was a lot of fun being able to share my experience with them. I had some really cool experiences with people coming by and checking out my computer, and even some camera crews from DreamHack came by and actually got some footage on my computer. It was just an absolutely wonderful experience. I have to give a couple shout outs specifically to the Atlanta Hearthstone players. and also Hacker and Ant for just being awesome during the Grand Prix.
For just being Ant.
Yeah, I mean, of my 4 rounds, and I'll talk more about this in just little bit, unless you want me to go ahead and talk about the Grand Prix.
No, we'll talk about it here in a minute.
Of my 4 rounds, I sat next to Ant in 3 of them. I didn't play him, but I sat near him, which is kind of cool. And
I'm sure he thought you were stalking him.
That discussion was made a few times. Yeah. And I also have to give a huge shout out through all my time at DreamHack this weekend and walking from the Grand Prix area back to the BYOC and various other areas, checking out the venues. I was exhausted, tired, wore out, dripping sweat. I would not have made it through the weekend if it wasn't for Monster Energy Drink, specifically Chandler and Amanda over at the Monster booth. And I know I'm probably still in your thunder, Versika, getting the shout out that you want, but Amanda and Chandler kept us fueled up all weekend, and we can't give you nothing but thanks. Really appreciate the Monster crew that was there specifically, as well as Amanda and Chandler. If you're watching the show, which I hope you are, thank you so much for keeping us energized all weekend.
All right, so Versika, I guess that makes it your turn. Tell us a little bit about your experience.
He did steal a little bit of my thunder, but Chandler and Amanda know I was over there enough. They pretty much know that we couldn't have made it without him. So that being said, first I really want to call out is you guys have noticed I'm rocking a new headset tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so my first shout out is going to go over to the guys and gals over at HyperX. Now, it was my understanding that HyperX only made RAM, so I was very surprised to see that they made peripherals as well. So I got over there, I started talking to Coy, and super cool guy, full of information, and legitimately excited about his product. And the more I walked by the booth and the more we talked and the more that I just kind of looked around and had a couple of listeners there, a couple of people that we had talked to. And believe it or not, most of the time they found me at either the Monster booth or the HyperX booth, go figure. But like I had to go sit in the Liquid chair because you know me, I'm a Liquid fan. And so I was just sitting over there talking in the sitting in the Liquid chair talking with Coy every now and again. And he really got me excited about where HyperX is taking their line. And I mean, they've got a really great keyboard set up. They've got some really great mice. They've just started some new blue radiation eyewear, blue UV eyewear. So if you're a Gunner fan, this is an alternative to Gunners. It doesn't have the yellow lenses. They were actually really comfortable as well. They're just coming out on the market, so I'll be excited to see where those go. But my first foray into the press room, I met Judy at ESL, and she was super helpful, super friendly, came up, talked to us a little bit, and kind of got us interested in the other things that were going on. Now, we came to DreamHack just for Hearthstone, but by the time DreamHack was over, I'd set in on Halo, I'd set in on Rocket League. I know Avanti's had set in on some of the Injustice and the Smash tournament. I went over and watched the College Brawl, Overwatch, and League. I checked out a little bit of League, not as much of League. I was familiar with League, but I really set in because I know that the guys at Viforce are particularly fond of CSGO. So I sat over in CSGO and checked it out. And then H1Z1, I watched some of their stuff. So it was really fun to get to know Judy and to kind of get introduced into those other things. But speaking of other games, I also wanted to give a shout out to Savvy, Zach, and Alyssa at High Res Studios, local Atlanta game development company. And we were talking with them quite a bit about the products that they have. And so we came home, we downloaded, and as some of you know, if you follow Avanti's and Zeroshio's Twitter, and if you follow mine, we thank you, first of all, for following our individual Twitters, but also follow the Hero Power Twitter. And you'll find when we go live playing other stuff besides Hearthstone. And we've been checking out the Hand of the Gods and really liking it.
Oh, yeah.
So also in the press room, though, we met up with Kay and Melissa, and they were sort of our DreamHack, I guess, not really handlers, but they were there to make sure that we had everything that we needed when the DreamHack staff wasn't there. And they were really great to talk to. I ended up talking more martial arts with him than I did anything else. What?
Want to throw a shout
What are you
out?
laughing at?
Thank you for the follow, Homeless Earl ATL. And also thank you for the follow, Language Hacker.
Homeless Earl. So he is listening. How about that?
See, he's listening.
I love our
Good on you,
listeners and
Earl.
viewers. Go ahead,
That's
Forsika,
really
finish
fun.
your story.
No, that's good. We as our first time going down as press, we really didn't know what to expect. Some people treat press with a little bit of disdain. Some people treat them with great respect, and really, they're there to tell the player's story. And when we were there, I felt like we were there to play to tell the player's story, and that's what I went for. That is what I like about esports. We didn't really get a chance to talk about the emails last week that happened for the week that I was on vacation. But if you want to know the biggest reason why I've never pushed for Legend, the biggest reason why I, quote, don't take Hearthstone seriously, it's because I like this part of Hearthstone almost as much as I like playing Hearthstone. I like telling Hearthstone stories. I like watching other people play and getting excited about who they are and how they're doing it. I like the deck building. I like all the little fun side stuff. And I'm a super competitive person. So if I ever decided to actually go pro with Hearthstone or actually try to get super competitive with Hearthstone, that would be all I could think about. And right now I'm having way too much fun on the outside. So it's going to be a long time before I actually dig in and get competitive with Hearthstone. That being said, I did have to make a couple of promises that I might compete in a major at some point. So I'll need some practice partners for that if any of you guys are willing.
I'm sure we can find you some.
Yeah. It was really fun, and like we said earlier, the girls at Monster really helped us out. HyperX, it was great getting to talk with those guys, and High Res. I mean, if I had to call out three exhibitors that were there that really I felt like stepped up and made us feel welcome and really took care of anything that we needed and any questions that we had. These were the people that stepped forward. And when I think of DreamHack Atlanta 2017, these are the people I'm going to be thinking of. So thank you.
Yeah. All right.
I have one tiny shout out that I want to make sure to mention. The place was riddled and packed with security, not just your normal Congress Center security, but also there were crew there that were acting as security. There were bonded security, and there was also the Atlanta Police Department covering the major exits and entrances. I want to give a huge shout out to all the everybody who works security from the bottom end all the way up to the police officers. They kept that place safe and secure, and I felt comfortable there.
Even if you did keep it safe from my drone.
That's right.
Because there were 3 major disappointments while I was in Atlanta. The first, Caribou Coffee was closed at 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning. That is wrong in so many ways. So many ways. But the second was to find out, 2 weeks prior to going to Atlanta, I had asked for special permission to fly the drone in Atlanta since the area we were in is a restricted fly area. So I'd received permission and then got down there and turned the drone on and found out that my permission had been rescinded. So I was not able to send the drone up in the air. So that was disappointment number 2. And then on Saturday, got into the event, turned on the GoPro for the first time on Saturday, and got a warning that the memory card had been corrupted. So I wasn't able to use the GoPro anymore Saturday and Sunday. So all of my footage is from Thursday and Friday. So I did learn something very important. When going to a major event, take multiple memory cards.
Yep.
All right.
I
So
blame him on the conference call. That's
Yeah.
what corrupted
Yeah.
it.
we
I
also
think it was our walk.
we also want
I
to
mean, you got to walk 1,000 miles in the Atlanta heat, right?
Poor Monty's trying to move us on.
we also want to throw a huge shout out to all of the listeners and other podcasters that were down there that we got to share this time with. Specifically Torlin, Yellow Dart, Blue Spartan, Fred, Metal Dan. It was awesome getting to meet all of you guys in person, hanging out. That all weekend really was truly the highlight of the entire event. Yeah, it was fun to be there, to see the pros, shake hands, give hugs, but hanging out with you guys was what really made this whole event for us. So, with that said, let's actually talk about the Grand Prix itself.
Okay.
So, Zeroshio, you actually got to play in the Grand Prix. This was your first major.
Yes, that is correct. It was my first major. Started out by having good, solid practice session with local ATL player Blake Hall, Frid, and Language Hacker. Huge shout out to those gentlemen for helping me prepare. They helped me make sure my lineup was ready. I was confident with my lineup, and I still think I brought a good lineup. I didn't perform as well as I would have liked, but I met my goal of not losing the first 3 rounds. So I ended up bowing out after 3 losses. So I that was the 4th round. So I was 1-3. There was a bit of a hiccup in the 2nd round. The internet, the fiber line going to that major block got cut. So there was
a construction crew. Important to note, it was not DreamHack's fault. They had zero control over it.
So the city actually got a fiber technician out there once they identified the cut. And literally once he got there, he had it fixed within 10 minutes. But it took them about an hour and a half to identify the damage, and then a half hour for him to actually get to the location. So we had, between the first round and the 2nd round, was about a 2-hour delay. I don't know if that factored into my results in the 2nd round, but I happened to win my 2nd round match 3-0 against notable pro The Rat. And big props to The Rat. He also went on to I know he won the next 2 rounds after that. But that was pretty much my highlight. Is my one win was against a notable pro, which is kind of usually story of my life in THL. I win the big ones and lose the smaller ones. But it was a good experience. I learned a lot. From that point on, I just watched the rest of our players. A lot of our players did really well. Blue Spartan did really well. Frid actually did pretty good himself. Language Hacker did well. I know Blake Hall did well. We'll talk more about him in just a moment.
Yellow Dart did well.
Yellow Dart did well. I mean, I could go on. All of our guys did better than me. So that big props to all you guys out there doing well. And do we want to go over the results yet? The winner of DreamHack Atlanta was our friend Dr. Jikaninki, who is the winter season North America champion.
Yeah.
And he was in the finals against, was it Noblord?
Yeah, so I've got
it was it Noblord?
Yeah, it was Noblord. So your top so I'm just going to do a rundown, your top 16 for the event, because there were a lot of notable names and a lot of as is with a major like DreamHack, you get a lot of notables and a lot of unknowns. So your top 16 were Chris LeBlanc, Pilu, Hot Girls, Amnesiac, thank you for the follow, Banja, Caravaggio, Mordekaiser, Syntherius, Impact. That was 16 through 9. Then your top 8, number 8 through number 4, were Chalky, SirSlim, Rich Webbs, and Icer.
And before we go any further than that, big shout out to SirSlim's. He's not done any. This was like his first major, and that is actually Cora's brother. He performed really well, and Cora actually had to cast his featured match, which she was extremely nervous about.
But she did a great job of remaining impartial. Then your third and fourth place finishers were Just Sayin and Nyman. Your second place finisher was Noblord, and as you said, the winner was Dr. Jikaninki. So it was a great tournament. I think they said there was about 165 players total in the event.
168.
168. So
we're in the Smash GG 168, and I placed 136th. So I'm very proud of myself.
Yeah.
I bested 30 other players.
There you go. So it was a great turnout, great event. It was really neat to see it live. So with that said, Versika, what surprises did you have from the weekend, good or bad?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily even call mine a surprise. I was very proud of our players. I think it goes to show that this region has some really great Hearthstone um, players and people in this region take it seriously enough to come out and compete, and I really like that. I did also want to give a shout out to friend of the show, Bloody Face, who just barely missed making the top 16. He was on the bubble and didn't find out to the very last that he wasn't going to get in. Um, so I guess that was my good surprise. Bad surprise, besides Caribou Coffee not being open at 10 a.m. Um, no, actually, my bad surprise was just how unprepared Georgia State University was to host the people from DreamHack. It seems like they had received very little instruction, or they had ignored the instruction sent by DreamHack when we got there. And that's a whole different story, and I won't go into it now. But just in general, there wasn't anything except for the kindness of the front desk clerk, who I know had to get tired of us coming up and talking about problems. They were patient with us. They tried their best to get things done with limited resources. So the front desk staff at the dorm we stayed was top notch. Everything else was really rough, including only getting one key card and one key to the door for 4 people. That's rough, because you couldn't even scan yourself in and go through the turnstile. You actually had to go to security, show them your card, and then they had to buzz us in the guest entrance because it would only flag one of us through. We found that out the hard way. So I guess out of all the surprises, I liked DreamHack. The fiber getting uncut was unfortunate, but I thought being on the ground floor and seeing how they handled it, I don't know that they could have handled it any better than they did. Top notch. I feel like, and I guess one more bad surprise, and this is actually directly a shot at Blizzard. I was very surprised, if you've got a major open like DreamHack, that you are wanting exposure to Hearthstone and you schedule a fireside on the opposite coast, and you have pro players coming there to play in a fireside about your new set rather than compete in a major tournament. I feel like decisions like that really undermine Hearthstone's credibility as a legitimate esport, because when I'm sitting at DreamHack and I'm seeing all these other esports have packed sections and cheering, and I'll look out at our section and it's a quarter full and nobody's cheering, and our guys are behind a curtain when everyone else is out on stage where they can be seen, and everything is behind the scenes. And if you had not been able to see through the curtain at some points, you could have made the argument that this wasn't even happening at DreamHack.
Well, I know they do that specifically so that the players aren't distracted. Because with Hearthstone, it takes a little more concentration between rounds, and it's not so fast paced. You can get distracted or tipped off by the crowd. But I do agree with you 100%.
Don't they play in front of a crowd at BlizzCon?
Yes, but it's also completely cased in, and there's not a chance that the noise canceling headphones can tip anything away, and the crowd, because of the way lighting's set up, can't be seen from inside those booths. And I don't think that DreamHack would have that kind of. That's a huge setup. If you looked at the BlizzCon setup, it is huge. But that being aside,
being an architectural designer, I'm going to call BS on that.
I will say that I made a reference during the weekend that we had on the left, we had Rocket League. On the right, we had Smash. If you were watching the stream and heard cheers for a totem, a taunt totem landing on the board, it wasn't for Hearthstone, I promise you. I made reference to Hearthstone being the PGA Tour of esports, where everybody kind of golf claps. And there's a guy with a sign that says "Quiet, please." They want as little noise as possible.
And actually, I was sitting in the audience with Amanda from Monster, and there was a play on screen, and the Smash people cheered. And she's just like, "Oh, that's gonna sound good for the stream." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's a lie."
Yeah. Well,
It's a lie.
and Chris, who's Torlin in chat, said it was explained to him that this was because of all the other events nearby, and I could kind of see that. Where if you had a rather cerebral type, slow turn-based, game like Hearthstone, and you're trying to think out your plays, and you literally have thunder sticks just being pounded literally maybe 20, 30 feet from you. It wasn't small, but there were a lot of esports going on simultaneously.
And once again,
just across the way, you had H1Z1 doing a $250,000 tournament, and it was always erupting.
once again, I call your argument invalid because they had playoffs at Buffalo Wild Wings with the same noise-canceling headphones. And I would put football and hockey fans cheering up against esports cheering any day of the week.
I don't know. Did you see Rocket League? I'm telling you, I became a fan of Rocket League.
I'm playing devil's advocate here. Like I said, in my experience, watching the majors online, the players have been exposed to the audience before. You have every other esport. It just to me it was bad timing. If you're going to have an event like this, put it out there for everybody to see. If you wanted it to be cheered on, I guess, and don't pitch your new set on the same weekend as a major tournament.
I can understand that Blizzard can't control when San Diego Comic-Con's going on, and they really want to be at that event. I totally understand them having exposure at San Diego Comic-Con. The part I don't like, and I agree with you 100%, is they actually conscripted and hired a lot of these top-end pros that normally give a lot of exposure to DreamHack. And admittedly, Frodan said he was excited to come to DreamHack Atlanta and then changed his plans once San Diego Comic-Con dates were announced. And he was asked to come out to San Diego Comic-Con for that. So I think that Blizzard probably could have helped out DreamHack a little bit by not asking all those, premier players and premier casters to come to the event, especially contracting them. I just think it was bad timing. But you can't, San Diego Comic-Con, you can't tell them to move their date,
No, you could have still pitched your cards and such from San Diego Comic-Con, but to have the fireside in the way that you did, I felt it was kind of a slap in the face.
I agree with that, yes.
Okay. That was, I guess, my biggest disappointment was that we missed out on seeing some of the players because they were pitching the product at another place instead of playing in the competitive sport. It's like traveling to Denver when Peyton Manning was playing. It's like traveling to Denver to see Peyton Manning play, and then you go and he's busy filming a Papa John's commercial instead of playing, and you don't get to see him play.
I want to point something out that this may actually indirectly be my fault.
Uh-oh.
So
I like how you wait till we are not all in the same vehicle before you drop this on us.
Yeah. So this.
Did you give them this idea when you went to California?
Well, actually, beforehand, I have been talking to the Hearthstone community manager for a while now about ideas for running firesides in connection with conventions, and they did one in connection to PAX East earlier this year.
Yes.
And then they ran one just now in connection with San Diego Comic-Con. One of the things that we had talked about, one of the ideas I had pitched was, you're going to have all these players at these big conventions. Why not host a fireside? Maybe, not at the convention, but parallel to the convention.
All right, so if you were tuning in at the beginning of the show when I said it was always my fault, I was wrong. It is always Monty's fault.
And I will take credit for this one. this is, like I said, because this was something I had talked to the community manager about quite a bit, and it sounds like they decided to run with it, and I hope that means we'll get to maybe run a fireside at a big convention somewhere in the Southeast soon.
That'd be
Not
great.
if it runs up against another one, evidently.
So
I do want to make sure to bring the focus back that we had some really solid players, and they performed really
I know.
well. And
I hope no
believe
one
that-
took it. I hope no one took it that we were saying that the players that weren't there weren't solid, or famous Hearthstone players, because there were a lot of players there
Hot Meow,
that were
Amnesiac,
Ant, Muzzy. I mean, you
starved.
can go down the list. We're not going to name them all. They were all great players, and we were excited to see them all. I'm just saying to undercut the event, regardless of how you undercut it.
Yeah.
I thought was poor decision making. Since it's obviously Avanti's fault, then the baton has been passed. It will always be Avanti's fault from now on. So let's
Yes.
move on.
All right.
As long as we all agree that it's from now on Avanti's fault.
Moving on, I was extremely starstruck and impressed by all the pro players there. Not enough for me not to hand out business cards to every single one of them.
Yeah, so
Every one
we
of
do
those players got
definitely
business.
we definitely need to send a shout out to all the pros who had to suffer us hounding them with business cards while we were there.
Yeah.
And I think Ant has like 6 business cards. I just kept
Okay.
giving them.
So
No, but,
I want a hug count on Ant.
I gave him like a half hug. I was covered in sweat. I wasn't gonna,
Like that's ever stopped you before. When
hug.
you walked 5,000 miles in Atlanta heat.
I did. It was like 5,037. But one other thing.
37 is important.
Yes, that was the bathroom. Anyways, the one thing I want to make sure we don't forget about is, aside from the Grand Prix, they also had a side event, and the side event was for, I believe, it was $2,000 prize pool.
Something like that. It was up there.
Do you all know who happened to win that side event? I know who got runner-up, because the runner-up was Blake Hall, one of our Atlanta.
Rodham D won the side of
Yeah,
Rodham D,
Rodham
that's
D.
right.
I was
That's
trying
right.
to think of his name.
But we had, I believe, and I believe I'm correct in this, Language Hacker, I believe, top 4 this side event.
That is
And
correct.
Blake Hall, one of our locals down there that put us in touch with Battle and Brew, and he has those awesome Atlanta HS t-shirts that he makes for the group down there. He actually took second place, which was a prize of $400. And Rodham D won the whole thing, which I think is the first place of
800.
800.
Yeah.
Yeah. My memory's a little fuzzy. At that point, I was completely exhausted, falling asleep in the car and saying things I don't remember.
Actually, our new Swedish friend Teraz was top 4 as well.
Top 4 as
Yes,
well, yeah.
that was the other one I couldn't remember his name. And I'll tell you, Teraz, big shout out to him. He was actually one of the nicest players I ever talked to. He was just full of energy and joy, and he came all the way in from Sweden, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yep. So, all right.
That is awesome.
So we are
Yeah, man.
moving on.
Go ahead.
All right. We had a great time, but we've got a little bit more news to talk about. And then we're going to talk about one of the decks that was shown exclusively at DreamHack. This is one of the decks that finished in the top 8. So, Tavern Brawl this week is a repeat of the very first Tavern Brawl we ever got. It's the showdown at Blackrock Mountain. 2 epic bosses of Blackrock Mountain are settling things once and for all, with your help. One of you plays Ragnaros, one of you plays Nefarian. It's a lot of fun. They are pre-constructed decks, so you don't have to build a deck. Just go get your pack.
My advice is die in sex.
There you go.
I don't know. I always end up winning with Nefarian, and
Of course
everybody
you
else
do.
says that Ragnos is better. I know we said we're going to skip it, and we are, but I do want to make sure it's mentioned. Frozen Throne
we're
cards
not
started being
skipping it.
revealed on Monday. We're going to try to do a more comprehensive review when more cards have come out. So
Yeah, we'll talk a
talk
little
about
more in
those.
depth about it maybe next week.
yeah. Definitely.
So, all right.
So we can make wrong predictions.
That's right.
Was said to me in Discord, if you're going to make predictions, don't do it on video. So, all right. This week's deck list was played by Cora's brother, SirSlim. It is Murloc Paladin. It's a control deck. And this deck played really well. Obviously, he made top 8 with it. He actually ended up losing to Noblord, I believe. I'll have to double check that. But anyway, so it's a lot of fun. I'm going to give a rundown of the deck, and then I'll turn it over.
He lost to Dr. J. He lost to Dr. Jinky Dinky.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He did.
Noblord beat Just Saying.
Yeah, Noblord beat Just Saying, and he lost to Dr. J. So, all right, so I'm going to do a rundown of the deck list, and I'll turn it over to Zeroshio to kind of talk about how the deck plays. So it's 2 Vilefin Inquisitors, 2 Hydrologists, 2 Aldor Peacekeepers, 1 Blessing of Kings, 2 Consecrations, 2 True Silver Champions, 2 Spike Ridge Steed, 1 Sunkeeper Tareem, 1 Ragnaros Lightlord, 1 Tyrion Fordring. Those are your Paladin cards. Your neutral cards are 2 Murloc Tidecallers, 2 Rockpool Hunters, 2 Murloc War Leaders. Then you got 2 Stonehill Defenders, 2 Gentle Megasaur, 1 Finja the Flying Star, 1 Harrison Jones, 1 Curator, 1 Primordial Drake. So, Zeroshio, thoughts?
So, this deck, if you listen to my most recent episode of 1600 Dust, I did the Know Your Role for Paladin. We talked about how Paladin's unique in the meta right now. Instead of just having an aggro, a mid-range, and control, it kind of has 3 different mid-range, where one's kind of more towards the aggro, one's true mid-range, and one's a little bit leaning towards control. This deck here is about as mid-range as you can get. It has a couple of the control elements just specifically to make sure that you can keep control of the board and whatnot. But as you'll see here, you're not seeing and why am I the Wild Pyromancer. You're not seeing Wild Pyromancer in here, and you're also not seeing Equality. So that kind of cuts some of those control elements for more of a mid-rangey, solid base. So you have a little bit of the early game. It concentrates on those turns 3 through 6 with your Rockpool Hunters and your Murloc Tidecallers and your Murloc Ward Leaders. I love the way this deck plays. I also brought a more control-y Paladin, and it did well for me. But after seeing this list, I kind of wish I would have sped it up a little bit.
Okay. He did pretty well with it. I mean, in watching, when we started out, Druid was pretty much the ban.
Yeah.
It didn't take long though before people that brought this type of Paladin, they were either getting it banned or they were, I guess, anticipating it being played first. So they were I feel like they were kind of counter queuing against it. So of the decks brought, I don't know that we were really super surprised by any of them, but I think this one, I was kind of surprised at how much, I won't say fear, but how much healthy respect it received very quickly. And it was interesting to be at DreamHack, watching people talk between rounds and watching the tournament meta that started evolve into the tournament meta at the end. And it was a subtle evolution, but it definitely evolved, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So Homeless Earl in chat says he only plays aggro decks between washing windows. Sorry, Earl, this probably isn't the deck for you. So, all right. So that brings us to our last thoughts for this week. We talked a lot about our trip, and we've got the card reveal stream coming up Friday, and this week's Tavern Brawl. Zeroshio, what are your last thoughts?
If you're ever go to DreamHack Atlanta in the area, or have a chance to go to DreamHack Atlanta in the area when it comes up next year. Hopefully they do it again. Definitely have a chance. If you have a chance to go, definitely go. It was well worth the experience. I had a lot of fun. I even didn't mind spending $4 for a 20-ounce Coca-Cola. It was that much fun that I didn't mind the extra cost involved in being at an event like that. I do want to say thank you to all the Atlanta Hearthstone natives that made us feel welcome. They helped us in the right direction for foods to eat, so we weren't spending $10 for a personal pizza. And also want to thank everybody that went out and had lunch.
Atlanta native.
And that had lunch and breakfast and dinner with us. It was a lot of fun. I can't wait to get back down to Atlanta, even if it's not for DreamHack, to hang out and just have fun.
All right, Rasika?
I can't wait to get back to Atlanta as well. Atlanta has a lot of great stuff going on. I, however, would not spend $4 for a soda. I had multiple reasons to go drink the free Monsters, so that's where I went. But yeah, I don't regret anything about the event except staying at Georgia State, which next time we'll go ahead and take care of that off the bat. But yeah, to be our first Hearthstone major, I felt like it was us getting our feet wet, meeting people for the first time, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that aspect of it. So I look forward to attending more events like this with you gentlemen. Next time we will bring a Segway for Zeroshio, 4-wheel version.
Dump truck. That's what I needed.
But yeah, so I absolutely agree with Zeroshio. If you are close to a DreamHack or you are close to a major event of any kind, it's worth going to check out, even if you just go for a day. I don't think you're going to be disappointed at all.
All right.
Just to clarify, I thought it was Tacomic, not Taco Mac, because clearly, if you're going to be Taco Mac, you're going to specialize in taco mac and cheese, which I guess still happened. If you don't know what I'm talking about, make sure to follow Versika on Twitter. But Taco Mac has some awesome wings.
Yep.
And macaroni and cheese taco.
So,
that's right.
No, and to
Think of
answer
yourself.
to answer Chris's comment in chat, so I have 32 monster tabs currently in my backpack, and I did receive some help. So some of the tabs come from other people. I'm going to say somewhere around the neighborhood of 10. So I would say your estimate of 20 monsters is probably right.
I probably only drank about 5 or 6 all weekend, so which I'd never drank a monster before this weekend, so that was an achievement for me. All right.
It doesn't affect my alien physiology. You know, we figured it out. I'm not an alien like the email said. I am obviously a Time Lord.
Yeah. So
I have a picture to prove it now.
All right.
That on my Twitter.
So that's going to do it for us this week, guys. If you are joining us on Twitch or YouTube, please stay tuned for the live play portion as we check out this deck from SirSlim. If you are listening via the audio podcast, we'd like to thank you for joining us. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at HeroPowerCast, and you can find all of our past episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/ECMMOGamers or on our website at HeroPowerHS.com. If you enjoy the show, you'd like to help support and improve it, you can do that by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/HeroPower. That will also get you access to our patron-only Discord. So
Which is blowing up right now.
Yes, it is. And we will see you again next week.
And don't forget to use your hero power at a major LAN event, because I did.
All right, guys. So while we're setting up, why don't you tell us a little bit more, Zeroshio, about Viforce?
Well, obviously, we speak every week about how Viforce has the best cost computer, best quality computer for the cost. And you can find out more about that over at ViforceGaming.com. Or, of course, you can go to HeroPowerHS.com, which is our website. Click on the Viforce link. It'll take you right there. But if you follow me on Twitter, it's HeroPower_cast, or myself at ZeroshioHS. I can't talk tonight. You'll see pictures of the event, which include my custom gaming rig that was supplied by ViforceGaming.com, and you'll see all the other pictures of the event for DreamHack Atlanta. So again, ViforceGaming.com or HeroPowerHS.com. Click on the Viforce link.
All right. Well, I am ready to go when you are. You just let me know when you have found a worthy opponent.
I am spinning. I'm hoping to get the gum chewer or the card SEN. What's that? Cheater McCheerson. Oh.
So, just a heads up before we get started in this. Remember that tomorrow is the treat day at Dairy Queen. So go buy a Blizzard. Proceeds go to the Children's Miracle Network. The treat day at Dairy Queen.
Okay.
Oh. Okay. All right. I have my opponent. My starting hand is Gentle Megasaur, Finja, and
need
Murloc.
You to turn on spectate.
Oh, because I had to turn it off for the major event. There we go. Sorry, that's part of the rules of Smash.gg. You had to have spectate off.
I love how he slid that in there. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Obviously, you want your early game here. We have General Megasaur, Finja, and Murloc Tidecaller. I think we're just going to keep the Tidecaller. If I had the coin, I might consider Finja.
No, I think you're right to keep the Tidecaller. I would send Finja back even if I had to.
All right, we got into Hydrologist and True Silver Champion. That's going to be great.
Yeah,
Okay.
spam Avantis. Spam Avantis that shows up on stream. You are absolutely correct.
That is true.
I want to see a spam train on Avantis live during the show. Make it happen, guys.
Turn 1 Tidecaller is definitely going to be a good one. Somebody's going to have to turn their status to busy so they won't get messages in the game. Quick, hi mom, hi mom, hi mom.
Yeah.
Lightning Bolt. I haven't seen Lightning Bolt and Shaman in forever.
Wait, shamans run lightning bolt? What?
Yeah.
God, that's because you guys don't play me.
A normal person doesn't put Lightning Bolt in their Shaman right now.
And now you're calling me abnormal?
That's right.
Okay.
Obviously, I think the play here is Hydrologist. We drew into Ragnaros a little earlier than we need to. What do you think here? I like Noble Sacrifice against Shaman. And it might be too early for Kodo.
Well, you don't really have anything to pair with Kodo right now.
Exactly.
I think Noble Sacrifice, but I don't know that I would play it yet. I would save it for a few rounds. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, next turn you could play it with Hydrologist. And I think the play is to keep it back for a little bit.
He is overloaded. So we can throw out the other Hydrologist and possibly Noble Sacrifice to play around Spirit Claws. Not Spirit Claws, Jade Claws.
I hate wasting both Hydrologists early because you don't. That secret may become more valuable as the game goes on.
Okay.
I like just making a dude smacking the face and passing.
You don't think we need to use the Noble Sacrifice for possible Jade Claws?
I don't think so, but you can go ahead if you want.
That's fine. I'm just playing in all lines.
You are the Paladin player, sir.
I probably would have held off on it as well to hopefully protect something like a Stone Defender.
Matt at Arms says the reason Lightning Bolt is cut from most Shaman decks is because coining out the Jade Claws is so much better than a Lightning Bolt.
True,
Yeah.
but if you're lightning bolting as a shaman, it should probably be to finish off your opponent because they don't see it coming.
Well, we know that he's running earth elementals.
Yep. I think you
This
run the
is-
1/1 in and play the True Silver.
I think I agree with you. And
I
you're
like
saying
that play.
run the dude in so that we're playing around Maelstrom Portal, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Justifying our actions with words.
Words.
That is definitely. A lot of times you'll see people trying to preserve their minions, and they'll run the 2/2 in, but it plays right into Maelstrom Portal, and it's usually not a good idea. Especially.
Yeah, this is more of a control shaman.
Well,
I would
Man at Arms
expect-
points out this is probably Crusher Shaman.
Yeah. We'll have to be careful about going wide because Volcano will wreck us.
Yeah, Volcano is definitely going to be in here.
Yeah.
It doesn't show up for Torlin sending me a message. It doesn't show up on mine because he's spectating. But I'm thinking just clear the taunt totem, hero power, and then that's it. Kind of slow roll it a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah.
You know we're going to clear the taunt totem.
Yeah.
What about playing the other hydrologist now? And then next turn you can drop the war leader and hit for 10. Or
Yeah, I hate to not use it. I would almost, at turn 5, I would say we could Hydrologist, Noble Sacrifice, and Dude.
Okay. That's
Maybe try.
valid one. I like the repentance here if it's Crusher Shaman.
Yeah. I like Repentance too.
So noble sacrifice now though.
Yeah. Because now he's got to be worried. Earth Elemental coming down and having its toughness reduced to 1.
Yeah, and that would be a reason to put repentance, but we can deal with Earth Elemental this turn, where we might not be able to in a few turns.
No, I'm just saying.
or
And
White
I
Eyes.
can deal-
Yeah.
I was just saying that as a shaman player, if I see a secret go up on turn 5, I'm reconsidering playing that Earth Elemental if it's in my hand.
So do we war leader here, or do we Spike Ridge Steed?
I think Spike Ridge Steed.
Yeah. I would use Face and the dude to clear White
definitely.
Eyes.
Yeah, definitely. Preserve that. And I don't know how prevalent Devolve is in Crusher Shaman, if it's a one of or at all.
I
mean,
run
I
one
know
up
they
in
run
my
Hex.
Crusher. I run 2 Hex and 1 Devolve.
And Man at Arms says in chat that bait out the Hex with the Steed. I like
There's
that.
the
So
Devolve.
which is fine. Actually, getting a 1/2 isn't terrible. So we can True Silver, but we'd have to run both minions in. What do you guys think?
Uh,
I don't know if it's worth the True Silver charge.
yeah, I mean, after that, the only thing you've got left is you could play the war leader to nothing, or you could just dude up.
Well, the War Leader is protected by the Noble Sacrifice. So
But
we
it's
could put
not protected from direct damage.
but it will draw some more removal.
Mm-hmm. It would definitely
like
draw
the-
removal.
Yeah, I mean, I see the value in that play, but I think I would almost just dude and
Repentance.
Yeah.
Yes.
if you want.
I think turn 7's or 6 mana is probably a good time for him to put out a large minion.
If I'm playing Shaman against a Paladin and I see a secret grow up, I'm going to play around Repentance at that point, and I'm going to give you something that is not worth repenting.
Well, whatever he's hovering over is all he's held the entire game.
Hot Springs Guardian, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah, see, now he knows Get Down is done. And now I'm going to play a Hot Springs Guardian or a Firefly. If he runs Fireflies.
Lightning Storm. Okay. Pretty high rolled.
Yep.
You have to assume at this point he has a Hex in hand.
Yeah. I mean, we could Dude and Spike Ridge to draw out the Hex, so it gives better value to Ragnaros next turn.
I like that.
Okay.
We still have the Repentance, which is it's good. He's probably figured out that's Repentance by now, though. He
If
hasn't
he's
done
not, he doesn't need to be up at rank 6.
Madame Goya.
Oh, yeah.
And he gets the thing from below. So I think this is definitely a consecrate turn. Consecrate, trade, play the Stonehill.
No, Consecrate True Silver.
Okay.
I like Consecrate True Silver.
Okay.
Yeah.
Both secrets are gone now. There's nothing to keep him from.
Exactly.
There's nothing to keep him at bay. We need to
Well,
keep
he
that
showed
minion on
us.
the board.
He showed us he didn't have a Hex, though. I don't know if he'd want a Hex.
I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to hex that because there's a good chance that Earth Elemental just takes care of it.
There's the Asira.
That's no bueno.
I think you have to Stonehill here.
Well, yeah, I agree.
I think
Those are bad.
Yikes.
Dirty Rat.
Do we do it this turn?
That's a hard call. Dirty Rat is definitely what I take, but
I mean, do you think he's going to have anything that's more than 7 health?
yes.
What?
If he's running Madame Goya, there's a good chance that he's running.
So Blue Spartan in chat brings up a point that Corsair would have been free had we taken it.
That's true, but I don't think we get much value. What are we doing here? We're burning.
Go ahead and just try Dirty Rat.
Roll it. Oh, that's a punish. Punish.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters.
It did.
Oh, punish.
Because he's playing.
I mean, at
You
least
should
the
know
board
this deck.
is fun.
I played this deck against you at. No, I guess it wasn't you.
Yeah, I blocked all that out. It doesn't. Those
They
games
got-
didn't exist.
Was it Nibble I played this deck against at our Green's Tavern?
Might have been.
Is this your SARS,
Yeah.
the SARS, and the
Yeah, this
SARS?
is. Yasar's is in here. Barnes should have been the first clue, but Madame Goya kind of sealed that deal.
This is really a not a great matchup considering we don't have the equalities, equality at all in this deck.
Yeah, I think Chris in chat has it right.
Yes, he does.
If you're gonna get punished, though, that's the way to get punished. I mean, come on.
Ragnaros and Rockpool Hunter.
We just ancestral spirit on it. Do we just go to game 2? Bottom right.
Yeah, I think so.
Bottom right.
Yeah,
We're running a little short on time anyway.
Yeah, I don't think there's a way to dig out of that one. Yeah, definitely Man at Arms. This is more mid range to control, and I kind of play it a little more controlled than I should, without the equalities. But that's my style. My style is control. Big shout out to Man at Arms. My control paladin did pretty well this weekend, and when I was able to play it, it wasn't banned. And I had a tech of Sergeant Sally in there, and she did work.
Were people surprised?
Very, very. Coin, do we keep the consecration to get shaman?
No.
No?
Drop it all back, but Tide Collar. I think.
I kind of agree. Keep the Tide Collar, throw the rest of it.
Yeah.
But in the end, you're driving and you're the paladin player, so.
Yeah, I probably would have kept the consecrate just because coining into a consecration, if it's the faster evolved shaman. But having 2 Tide Collars is not bad. Do you think I should coin them both out?
Yeah, force him to have an answer.
Which is probably going to be Jade Claws for one of them.
Okay.
Probably hit the 2-2.
It's a charge off of Jade Claw. It's a charge off of Jade Claws, and then he's got to run the other 2 into the other Tide Collar. I consider that a win. And he's overloaded next turn.
Exactly. Just considering hero power. There's
the Jade Claws.
So if he had it, he'd have the Jade Claws. Question is, does he clear?
Yep. That's
I
okay.
That's fine. I'm fine with that.
Hero power pass.
Yep. Because he either wastes
Don't
the other
forget to
charge
use your
on
hero power.
he either wastes the charge on the Silverhand Recruit, or he kills off another one of his minions, or he Maelstrom portals for 1 minion. Whoa!
Face is the place.
Okay, dude, pass. I guess.
Yeah.
I hate it we're not drawing into our Hydrologist or Valfin Inquisitor. I could take a Stonehill Defender at this point. Finge is going to get value if we can never get there.
There you go.
True Silver, take out the totem.
Manatide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Manatide's got to go.
This sets us up for Finja next turn. He could think from below. That might be a pain.
Yeah, this is a straight up textbook token shaman.
Yep.
Wish I had to consecrate back. Do we drop the Finja?
I think you dropped the Finja.
And then we clear the Primal Fin, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then next turn we attack, and then play the Vilefin, and then Gentle Megasaur.
Yep.
Oh, there's the devolve.
Oh, wow. He's going to have to clear that.
Yep.
Why did he override his weapon?
I have no idea.
Why did he override it?
Maybe a turn 8 play, wanted to have it out. Didn't want to deal with the overload on turn.
That's fine. He could have cleared the minion and then thrown it out.
You asked why he did it. I wasn't saying it was a good call.
That's crazy. Give him stuff to kill?
Yeah. I say Valfin, Murloc dude, or the leader.
Yeah.
He either clears or we punish him next turn.
He's short of lethal with Bloodlust.
Yeah.
He's counting it up.
Got the Bloodlust.
Yeah, if he hadn't done Jade Claws last turn, he could have Flame Tongue, Totem, Bloodlust, and I think that would have gotten us, right?
Yes.
One off.
No, he would have been one off, I think,
Yeah.
because of the damage that went to our face.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have had that. So if he goes straight face,
He won't. He's got it clear.
yeah. Another Maelstrom.
Now we
Ready
need to top deck the Consecrate with post haste. Oh, didn't get it.
So I think our only possible play is Tidal Hand into Megasaur, try to get Taunt.
Yeah.
Mad at
Not a
Arms.
good
Does
play.
that help us?
Mad at Arms says he played around
Played around
Harrison by playing his weapons before we drew him.
There's the Taunt.
Sniper.
He's stream snapping.
This takes us 2 off of lethal. If he just has the Bloodlust.
See, I still liked Bloodlusting last turn if I had it. So I don't
Yeah.
know that he's got it.
Well, we can Ragnaros this turn and go back to full health.
That's true. If he, yeah. Look at that. If he has a Bloodlust, he probably use it to clear the Megasaur with the Searing Totem, or possibly with the Argent Squire to retain it.
Yes, Mad at Arms. We realize Sergeant Sally would be good here.
Yes, Sergeant Sally would be great here. This is not my deck. This is SirSlim's deck.
There's the thing from below.
So the question is, we're obviously going to clear that with Megasaur, right?
Ooh. So what's he got? He's got 8. Another 8.
10.
16. 21.
Is this a Tyrion or Rag turn?
He's got it. It's you almost have to Tyrion here.
So we're going to first. we're gonna
How
clear-
much damage does he have?
Well, if we clear the thing from below with the
Right.
Megasaur, he'll have 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
And Rag puts us back up to 26.
26.
So out of lethal range, and then we Tyrion next turn.
I guess.
I mean, Tyrion, with Tyrion, he can only do 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 to us.
Yeah, he's got to get through Tyrion.
But that
I like
leaves us
and
at 1. So okay,
Right.
I like Tyrion.
okay.
But Devolve,
It also gives us a weapon to clear.
the biggest problem, yeah, that's why I want him. The biggest problem is Devolve into Bloodlust we lose.
Right.
Where the Bloodlust with the Ragnaros would have been fine. I
It puts
really-
him on having to evolve
Concentrate.
with 16 cards left in his deck. He's already used 1 devolve. So 1 in 16.
Yep. There's a Bloodlust. If he has a weapon, okay.
Okay.
They're
Top
the ones who
deck,
would like
consecrate.
this-
No.
No, would have been nice. Do we have to rag here, right?
I think you
Yeah,
have to
you don't
rank
have
here.
a choice.
Yeah.
But if he has the second bloodlust, we're done.
Yeah.
Second blood. If it is second bloodlust, it's either going to be the middle card or now the top deck card.
Yeah, it's not going to be the first card. What?
He doesn't have it.
Question is why would he run 2 minions? And usually the play is just one, hoping the rag heals itself. I don't know where he's got doppelgangster.
Yeah, he's making space to
Evolve.
evolve. Yeah.
So if we clear the 3/2 with rag, clear the 0/2 with our face,
I think-
and
Yeah.
Tareem, and then Blessing a King is Tareem.
Yes.
Exactly. Exactly.
That
And
is
the
the
rag will
line
be
I
a-
would take.
Rag will be a 3/3, so it'll heal our face.
Yes, that is
Yeah.
correct.
And we'll be back up to 17. And he's got to use a lot of resources to get through Tareem.
He'd have to use 4 of his 5 minions to clear Tareem or something else. Like,
Or his
Yeah.
second evolve.
yeah, second evolve or hex or
He's not going to have another weapon.
I don't think this list runs Hex.
I don't think so either. If it's my list, it doesn't run Hex at all. So far, it looks identical to my list. It does have a second Bloodlust in the deck and a second Doppelgangster and a second Evil. There's a Stonehills looking for White Eyes or Thing from Below. He didn't snap pick, so I don't think it was either one of those.
He could have been looking for Alakir.
Ooh! And he has to kill the rag.
there's White Eyes.
What
Yeah, which is going to get Aldored.
Yes. So
Well, there's-
Aldor the White Eyes, clear it.
There's no other weapons in the deck. There's no reason to keep Harrison back any longer.
There's
So-
not, but I don't know if there's a reason to put him out now.
Just board pressure.
Yeah, board
'Cause we're
pressure,
gonna have to
clear
clear
his
these next
minions.
turn.
We're doing the Aldor.
Yeah,
My thought was War Leader, Hero Power, and then buff up the War Leader with Rockpool Hunter.
could do that.
You can do that, yeah.
Because he's getting low on resources as well.
I was just thinking less devolved targets.
Yeah, that's merit too, but I think if he had the devolve, he would have used it already. Okay, that would have been used on Harrison. Oh, consecration! My kingdom for a consecration. Don't the other one. Do it too. Consecration. Yes.
Yes! Finally! Ah.
Vindicated.
Now punish him.
So consecration, right?
Oh.
And
And there's the concede.
That's right.
Oh, wow. What a comeback.
I'm so good. Top deck kings. I top decked a 2 out of 15.
Alright, so
Oh.
we got one more. I expected these games to go a little bit faster.
Do we? Are we gonna do one more? Or are we calling it?
We're 1-1. It's up to you.
Okay. I don't mind going. I just don't- pumpkin hour is approaching. Oh, Torlin, making trouble in chat.
That was fun. That was a fun game.
It was a fun game.
Oh, and we got a rogue.
I will say that I probably should have kept the consecration. But out there.
You got it when you needed it.
I like
That's
this
true.
hand. Maybe throw back the blessing, but I like this hand.
I don't think we need the blessing. I think
Well-
keep it all except for blessing.
Okay, so what are you looking for instead of blessing? You've got the coin.
Yeah, that's true.
You can now blessing on turn 3, and that is a mighty big hydrologist.
I'd probably rather put it on the vial fin, but
Okay.
Yeah.
if,
A
if it
5/7
stays-
vial fin's
Okay,
just as
I'll
good.
go with it.
I'm just thinking
Big body.
anything after turn 5, blessing a kings is suddenly not near as valuable.
That's
Vi-
true. 'Cause of-
Vile Fin, Rock Pool Hunter, the Vile Fin, then Blessing of Kings, the Vile Fin. He's huge.
That's true. So vial fin, and you usually don't see the backstab into dagger like you used to.
Yeah.
This annoys me to no end. The fact that my title hand hero power is not golden. That annoys me.
Yeah,
Okay,
First
so
world problem.
rock pool on the vial fin.
I think
Yeah.
so. The only thing we got to watch out for here is a sap. Put too many resources on it, and then he sap it.
Well, that's fine if he saps it. I'd rather use sap on a 1-mana target than anything else.
Curious to say this is probably the aggro version. So
Yeah.
I think you still go with Plan A and coin out
Blessing.
blessing a king.
Yeah.
You think so?
I do. And then next turn you General Megasaur, and if you get Wind Fury, he's going to be
Do-
hard pressed
Do
to
we go
stop.
face?
Oh, absolutely.
The only merit would be clearing one of those would play around a backstab play, but it'd be a lot more backstab that he needs. So I like going face there. Now it's a sap.
I don't know. My list doesn't run it.
Blessing of Wisdom. Just for a combo? But he's not going to clear it.
He will next turn.
Do we Megasaur?
I think we Megasaur. Or you could make a case for double Todd Caller Hydrologist and go
yeah.
wide.
That's what I was thinking. Tide Caller, Hydrologist, and then kill the 3/3, or go face again.
No, keep going face.
Tide color, Hydrologist. Face?
Yeah.
Once I pick my stuff. Noble Sacrifice, Eye for an Eye, and Redemption. I like sack here.
I do too.
Because if he does it with his dagger, that's 2 more damage to his face.
Yeah, but he's not going to do it with his dagger.
I mean, he might have to. If he hopes to clear anything the turn I put a Noble Sack out. We'll have to see what we have.
Rasika, you look like you need a monster.
Yeah. Our girls, Chandler and Amanda, hooked us up all weekend. I'm missing my monster drinks.
Yeah, I traded in going to bed at 4 a.m. for getting up at 4 a.m.
He is getting all of my cards. He didn't clear the 6/6.
Nope.
So
I think the punish is real. I think you Noble Sack and Gentle Megasaur.
there's no
What are we hoping for on the Gentle Megasaur?
Wind Fury.
Because we don't need the Outdoor Peacekeeper. He's not threatening lethal. I like that. Let's Gentle Megasaur. Hope for Wind Fury. We didn't get it. Health?
Yeah,
Health taunt or can't be targeted. I think
Health.
I
Yeah.
like the health. And then I
Face?
go I say we get face and noble sack.
Oh yeah, definitely want a noble sack.
That means either the noble sack means that either the rock pool or the Megasaur lives this turn, unless he decides to use an eviscerate.
Yeah, well he's getting into auctioneer turn. That's not great, but he's having to do it early.
Yeah.
Fan. Yep.
Yeah.
He had the full gambit. That was the right choice.
Yeah.
I think he's going to want to preserve his Van Cleef. But I don't think he can't afford to. He has to use a Van Cleef. SI into the Megasaur.
So Stonehill Defender here.
I like. Okay, so let's think for a second. Our outdoor targets are now exclusively what?
Giants.
He's not running giants.
I think he is.
I think he probably is too. This looks like standard
I think
Miracle
if
Road.
we beat True Silver this turn, we can hit his face, and Consecration is lethal next turn.
Yep. Go ahead.
You like that?
True silver chain and true silver and dude and pass.
His Consecration is now lethal. I think that's it. He can't afford
Yeah,
to leave.
Matt at Arms is right. At this point, it's just a race.
Yeah. It's definitely a race. I mean, if he go overloads like crazy on the board, we have the Aldor as a backup. Yeah.
There's what he's using instead of giants.
I run that and Giants in mine.
That's what I've seen too.
He got a secret.
Noble Sacrifice is the only real bad one.
Yeah, I run 2 Arcane Giants, Edwin, and 1 Questing Adventurer in my...
Consecration.
There's the Giants.
There it is.
Giants. Consecration. Consecration.
So greedy.
Do we think that's Noble Sack, though? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't think we can. We need a Consecration there.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see what we get.
I think that was our real out.
Wicker
Well?
flame. Right? No, Sunkeeper here.
Well, we can't.
We can't
And
play
flame.
it. It doesn't matter.
So Wicker flame. That gives us at least
A little bit of heal. Yeah.
a little bit of health.
Do you attack face with your weapon?
We have to, right?
Yeah. You have to.
Sack? Nope. Eye for an eye. Wow, that negates the 4 healing we get. Yeah, we're
2
done.
healing we get.
No,
Yeah.
it negates the 4 we get from Wicker Frame.
Oh,
Wicker
yeah.
Flame.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised. I thought that this list was out.
Yeah.
I know this is going to confuse a lot of people, but I'd actually traded out the Arcane Giants for more aggressive stuff.
Well, the thing is you are very unique in the fact that you do things differently than other people. But I've seen Rogue lately, and they've been putting it in there because it's the popular list. I don't know if it's the right list to run, because True Control Paladin eats that list up.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say I'm pulling my list up now. I want to see.
But this, what we were running, is not a control paladin. It's more of a true mid-range paladin. All right. So
Yeah,
I
actually,
like this list. Going into my thoughts on this deck, I like this list it did really good for SirSlim in the heavy aggro lineup that was brought to DreamHack Atlanta. However, on the ladder, I prefer more of a control-y list.
Versika, what are you running in your list?
Oh, that rogue list? I actually have Leroy and Harrison instead of the two Johns.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I, again, like the mid-range Murlocs. I think they're a lot of fun to play. So this deck list will be available on our website at 9 a.m. Eastern in the morning. If you want to grab the deck code and build it yourself, you can do so.
That's at HeroPowerHS.com.
There you go. All right, guys. So that's going to do it for us this week. If you have any questions or comments about the show, please feel free to send us an email at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. Do us a favor if you haven't already and hit that subscribe button below on YouTube, or give us a follow on Twitch to be alerted as to when we go live. Huge shout out. Thank you so much to the 7 new followers tonight. That was awesome. For more details on how you can join our patron-only Discord, you can find that at patreon.com/heropower. Until
you
next...
can also find all of our Twitter handles on our website as well. So if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can find both the Twitter information for the Hero Power account and then all of our individual Twitters on the website as well.
That's right. All right, guys. Until next week, good gaming.
Bye, guys.